Before we make any more enemies, let's add some sound effects to our frog. Let's add a weird sound that we found on OpenGameArt, or at least that I found on OpenGameArt, that I think will work pretty well. There's this mutant frog sound. I think that those work pretty good, so I've downloaded this zip, and I'm going to open it up, and then we'll copy the files into the project. So I'll grab my zip file, open it. Oops, let's go open it. Select the two frog sound effects, the two OGGs. I'm not going to grab the wave that has both of them. And then I'll close that window. I've got them both copied onto my clipboard with Control-C. Go back into Unity, go to my audio folder, Show in Explorer. I should see my audio folder right there. I can double click it and paste with Control-V. Once those files start to appear, I'll close this window, jump back into Unity, and I should see my two frog sound effects. I'll select my frog, take that frog one sound, drop it right on him, press play, and make sure that I hear a frog sound right when my game starts up. There we go. So that's working. Now I want to make this sound effect play continuously, or not maybe continuously, but perhaps when the frog is about to jump, or maybe just when the frog is landing. Let's uncheck play on awake, go to our frog script, and then in our frog script, when we do our on collision enter, let's tell our audio source to play. So we could call get component audio source. Oops, not audio behavior, audio source, and tell it to play just like that. But since we're already caching things, we should probably do that here as well. So I'm going to copy this get component part, put it right under my cursor, hit Control X, go up to awake, right up at the top, put underscore audio source equals, and then I'll just paste and hit semicolon. Click on audio source, hit Alt Enter, and generate a field, and I should get a field right up here at the top that's a private audio source named audio source. I'll double click private and double click delete to get rid of that keyword. Now down here at the bottom and on collision enter, I'll just say underscore audio source dot play. Now if I go back into Unity, I should hear my frog bouncing around making sounds. Oh, I think I rechecked play on awake. I'm going to have to make sure that I uncheck that. So let's listen. So he jumps, and we hear the sound, and we hear the sound again. But this is a little strange, right? He's kind of far away for me to be hearing that. I probably should only hear him when he's on screen. So how can I do that? Well, there's actually a really easy way to do that, and it'll add a really cool effect as well. So let's stop playing. I'm going to minimize some of these scripts on my frog, uncheck the play on awake option, and let's scroll down to 3D sound settings. It may be collapsed for you. If it is, just expand it out by clicking the little arrow or on the text. And what we want to do here is use 3D positional sound. Unity has a 3D sound system built in, and we really just care about whether the thing's off to the left or the right. So we can set this up to use just our 3D position based off the left and the right. What we need to do first is change this from logarithmic roll to linear roll. We can use logarithmic if we want, but I like a linear roll off because it'll make it nice and easy for you to see what's going on. And I feel like it makes a little more sense when we're building a 2D game. Of course, you can change this later, use whatever you like, but I want you to use this just to start. I'm also going to change the max distance to be about 10. Look at the circle here. Now you can see the range of our audio effect, or of our audio distance. If I just press play though, it's not going to work. It's going to give me the same sound effects. Watch. Let's just hit play and make sure that I'm not crazy, that we do hear the same sounds. Yep, see, it still played the sounds. When it lands again, it's going to play the sound again. Yep. So that's not what I want to happen. What I want to happen is for it to use the 3D sound effects. So I need to take the spatial blend slider and drag it all the way over to 1. Now it will use 3D sound. But there's one big problem with this. Now if I press play, let's watch what happens. So I play, go, run over here. I don't hear anything from the frog yet. Okay, seems okay. My player sounds are good. Let's come over here. I'm inside the frog range. Why don't I hear anything? Well, the reason for that is because we're using 3D sound in a 2D game, and this sound system's really built for 3D. So if we go into 3D mode in our scene view, go to the scene view, check the 3D, 2D button, and go look at our frog. We can see that our frog's audio circle is that big blue circle. That's the whole thing. If I collapse, or here, let's uncheck it. You see that it's turning on and off. That big circle is the audio part. Where's our audio listening device? Where's the thing that we pick up audio from? You might think it's the player, but it's actually not. By default, it's the camera. It's this object way out here, placed outside the world, kind of back far away. So let's go select that frog and the camera at the same time. And you might see why it's not working, why we're not hearing anything. The frog's circle isn't overlapping with the camera. So we need to do something about this. We've got a lot of options. We can move the camera maybe. We could move the audio source, or maybe expand out the range of this frog. We could maybe make this like 20. So if we set this up to like a 20, then it's going to be in range. But when I go to 2D mode, I can't really tell what the range is anymore. And it's like half the range that I see, and I don't really like that. So instead, we'll stop playing, and what I want to do is go to my main camera and find the audio listener component. There's only supposed to be one of these in your scene, so I can't just add a new one. Instead, I want to remove the one that's on my main camera, go down to my player, and minimize this audio source, hit add component, and add an audio listener. Oh, look, I've already got it typed out and selected. So just choose audio listener and add that onto the player. Now the listener is going to be at the same 2D space, or the same Z depth, as our frog. So they'll both be lined up, and I should hear it as soon as my player gets within 10 meters or within that circle. Let's go try that. Here's my player. You can see him in both views. Come over here. I'm just about in range. I can hear him bouncing. There he went, and you may or may not be able to hear it, but there's actually spatial audio. I can hear the side he's on. So if you have stereo speakers set up with your left and right set up, you should be hearing him jumping from the left to the right. If you don't have that, or maybe just go put some headphones on and hear it, you'll hear the cool effect. It's pretty neat and extremely easy to get working, as you can tell. So let's stop playing, go into Plastic SEM, save our level, make sure that that's in here. So we added 3D frog sound effects. And check in.